Bore da, shwmae, sut wyt ti?
Bore da, I'm very well, thank you. Diolch yn fawr.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for coming back. You came on the show last week, and before we knew it, within 24 hours, we made headline news, Eluned.
You did. That was my little gift to the station, just to kick us off. I made a point about President Trump, and look, I'm really pleased that this week, what we've seen, and Palestine in particular, and I'm really pleased this week that what we've seen is Palestine being recognized as a state. And of course, this is something I've been asking for a very long time. I'm really delighted that that has happened, because we've all watched the scenes on our telly, I think, and been horrified by starving children. Using starvation as a weapon of war is just not acceptable. And, the absolute devastation in that area. And of course, all of us were against the dreadful things that happened to Israel on 7th of October and the kidnappings. But I think the response has been utterly disproportionate. And that is, harming really innocent people. There's not many people who are fans of Hamas, and I'm certainly not one, and I wouldn't want to see them take part in any future government in Palestine. But, those poor innocents in Palestine, that's just not something that I think we should put up with.
No, and that saga is going to continue to drum on, but hopefully now with that recognition, something you've been calling for. I was looking back, you were the health minister when you first mentioned something about the protection of Gaza as well. So that shows your timeline is talking about this, and it's not just you and the Labour government looking at it. It's the ICC, International Criminal Court, UN resolutions, and now all stepping up and looking at those atrocities. And that was one of the reasons you gave for not attending that state banquet last week. And it got us on the news, which is quite remarkable.
Well, I think, listen, the reason was because we did have to. I had to be there to support my colleagues at a difficult time. But I think it is important to, perhaps separate out the fact that, his politics is not my politics. And it's probably worth mentioning also that as a government, we don't generally have much say in international affairs, but where we can help, we will. And we've offered as a government to take part in a scheme that will help out children who are really sick from Gaza. We won't get many of them, but people who need medical attention. So that scheme will be coming very soon. We're talking single figures, really. But if we can help out with the sophistication of our health service, then, for those one or two children who really are suffering, I want to make sure we play our part, really.
Yeah, that's great. And so that's one thing that's happened over the last 7 days. What are some of your other highlights from the week then, First Minister?
Oh, well, there's been all kinds of things we've done this week. One of the things we've done is we've got the visitor levy bill through. Now, this is something that is very relevant to Pembrokeshire. What this is a really small charge on people who will be staying in the area. And, it's £1.25 per night, 75p in a campsite. And the point is that people who live in Pembrokeshire have to, at the moment, pay the extra money for all those visitors coming in to get rid of all the rubbish and all those things. And we just think that people coming into the area, it's right for them to contribute to that. And so that money will be ring-fenced and will be spent to support visitors to the area. But it's up to the council whether they want to introduce that or not. And they're not able to introduce it till 2027 anyway. But I hope that will help the people in Pembrokeshire to, see cleaner toilets during the summer and get the bins cleared quicker and all of those kinds of things that really matter, I think, to people.
Yeah, and it's not an uncommon thing. If you're someone that's travelled abroad recently, it's other cities and other areas already impose these small fees to go away.
That's right. And, I'm going to be heading off to Liverpool for the Labour Party conference this weekend. And, they're charging it. New Zealand charges it, France, Greece, Portugal, all of these countries. It is something. And it's a very small, it's just half the price of a sausage roll. So, it's just something I think we've got to recognize that people who live in these areas where you've got a big influx of people in the summer, it's not right that they're paying for all those visitors and the extra pressures that come in as a result of them.
Talking of influx of visitors, of course, this weekend, one of the highlights for Pembrokeshire is Ironman Wales takes over Tenby and south of the county. There's quite a spectacle that the south of the county puts on for everyone.
Wow, it was quite remarkable, wasn't it? The numbers of people, and you really have to be tough to get through that race. It is quite remarkable. It was great to see Shane Williams as one of them, and the amount of training they have to do. I know it's a bit of disruption for the area, but it also brings a lot of joy to people in the area. So it's just an incredible thing.
It is. However, it was a little bit marred this year because of the storm discharge. There was actually a health warning on Tenby North Beach during the race that happened because of the weather we had in the lead up to it. What are you doing at Welsh Government and as the regional representative for looking at what happens to our sewage and to our waste? I know that you put out a water treatment bill to do nutrients in rivers. What can we do to look after our fabulous blue flag beaches?
Well, the first thing we've got to do is to identify where the waste is coming from. And what we know is quite a lot of the waste in Pembrokeshire is actually coming from agricultural pollution. So we've tightened up the rules around that, but it's still a problem. And actually, one of the things that's happening now is that it's become such a problem that, it's difficult to build new things because of the additional pressure that would go as a result of the sewage. So I've got a group together. We've got a task force. They're meeting in Pembrokeshire later this week to knock heads together to say, listen, we can't have no more houses being built in Pembrokeshire because of the pressures on the rivers. So we're knocking heads together, trying to make sure we identify where the pollution is coming from and make sure that we can address that issue so we can get back to building houses. Because, the prices of houses in Pembrokeshire, rents, they're really high in some places. It's a lot of pressure. So, we do need to be building these houses, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be unblocking that as soon as we can.
That sounds very good, and because we were at the Surfers Against Sewage paddle out protest back in the summer, and I know that they'll be keeping a close eye on what you're doing to look after our beaches. Keeping families and building homes and keeping families together. You've actually opened the door on your family this week.
Oh yeah, I did, and it's a difficult thing for politicians to do because I generally try and keep a little bit of a barrier between my personal life and my political life. But actually, I thought it was important for people to recognize that we're also human beings. And, every weekend I try and come home and look after my mum. My mum's is 93 and she has Alzheimer's. So I did a little video this week just to show, the love I have for my mother and also the recognition that actually, look, there are thousands of people who are looking after loved ones, who are, unpaid carers up and down this country. It's tough work. It's really, really tough work. And I guess I just wanted to make sure people understood that I can identify with that because, you can imagine after a tough week coming home, and I work at 100 miles an hour, so to come back and have to slow down massively, to be patient, to be calm, and to just give that time and love is something that is tough but really important. And there are people who do that every day. I do it just on weekends when I can. So I just wanted people to recognize that, look, I can identify with you.
Yeah, it's there's nothing more humbling. Part of my family growing up was looking after people with Alzheimer's and that memory loss and personality loss as well. It's a complete change to your identity and their identity. And as you say, back and forth to Cardiff, making all these decisions. We hit the headlines once. You're in there multiple times a day with the decisions that you're making, and then you're back home and looking after your mum. We're all human. We've all got very similar attributes going on.
That's right. And we've tried to do what we can as a government. There's always more we can do to support carers in particular. And, we know they need breaks. We know they need some support. So we've tried to put support in, and that was particularly true during the COVID pandemic, just recognizing, there's just no break. And that's a massive pressure. And let's face it, listen, if people didn't do that, the pressures on our system would be absolutely enormous.
Yeah. If you're someone that finds yourself in that situation, then by all means contact the community hub. They can be contacted on the High Street in Haverfordwest. You can find out more at the community hub, and also the Carer Support West Wales network that Tammy from our Healthy Minds, Better Lives show also looks at. And talking to community hub, the community hour is back this Sunday from 9 a.m. And but before I leave you go and get on to another busy day, First Minister, today is Women in Fitness Day, and you gave a bit of insight actually into your morning routine. What is it that keeps you young and sprightly?
Oh God, I'm not sure if I qualify as young and sprightly anymore, but I do try and do. In fact, I've just finished I do yoga. I try and do it every day, just 15, 20 minutes, just to get stretched out, and then I do try and go for a run once a week, just to kind of keep that fitness level up, because this is a tough job, and you have to be not just mentally fit, but you need to be physically fit as well. You just can't afford to be ill in this job. So I do try and make sure I keep up in that way.
Yeah. Do you have any female athletic role models that you've got in the back of your mind?
Well, the person that I do yoga with is Yoga with Adrian. So it's an online Texan who inspires me every morning.
I love that. And if you want to get some face-to-face fitness, Jay's Muscle and Fitness is where you can go down in Pembroke Dock, who's supporting the day and helping us get fit and active and healthy. You mentioned you're off to Liverpool then for the conference. I imagine that's one of your highlights this upcoming week. What about closer to home in Pembrokeshire and in Cardiff?
Yeah, so I'll be visiting lots of places in Pembrokeshire this weekend on Friday. I think there's an event in Narberth on Saturday, the food festival. So lots of things on. I'm trying to get around as many schools as I can in the area as well, and make sure that I visit, in particular, lots of third sector organisations, charities and things as well.
Love that. So keep your eyes peeled. You just might have First Minister walking around your event or your school. In fact, we'll talk about schools maybe in an upcoming opportunity here on a Wednesday morning to see what you've been doing about that. One of your recent videos was up in Aberyron, which was very exciting. So something to look forward to. You've already given us Bill Withers, Lovely Day. Have you got another track for us to send us on our way on this wonderful Wednesday with Price and Kelway solicitors?
So the next track is Norah Jones, Sunrise.
I love this song. And if you're out and about, apparently that low-lying sun is causing issues when you're driving. So please do take your time if you're out and about today. First Minister Eluned Morgan, representative for Mid and West Wales, thank you so much for joining us once again here on The Breakfast Show with Folly Farm. We'll see you again next week.
Diolch yn fawr, Tom.
And a reminder, if you're watching this or listening back to it, watching it back, the First Minister is happy to take questions. So please do email us studio@purewestradio.com. We'll line them up in readiness for next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Have a great day.
Diolch yn fawr. Bye-bye.
Wonderful Wednesday, sponsored by Price and Kelway Solicitors, celebrating 100